Welcome to February at Gasper Cottage, which has been an unbelievably warm and wet month. So things have been growing, but everything is absolutely waterlogged. But down here by the pond, while it still looks wintry, listen to that birdsong, there is a complete change in the feel of the place, which is very exciting. And, as you look at what look like bare twigs, when you look more closely, all the buds are now really starting to swell and fill, and you can almost feel that energy building. And you get the winter flowering, so you've got the viburnum tinus there flowering, which people do call it a car park plant, but I love it. I think it's great. Shiny leaves, white flowers. The rhododendrons are beginning to get a bit more bulk and heft, which is very exciting, and they're all budded up and ready for action in a month or so, which is going to be very exciting. Exciting to me, but not very visually exciting, are the first of the few primulas that we put in by the edge of the pond, which not very impressive en masse, but utterly lovely up close. And as they hopefully naturalise and take and spread, that'd be very exciting. But you have to kind of take your pleasures where you find them this time of year. So yes, you've got your heathers, which is lovely. I've got all sorts of different colours of heathers around the garden, and what's not to like about a heather? But also, in the forest garden, I've got several of these Cornus mass, the cornelian cherry, which are very lovely. And up on the old wall, I've got this very nice clematis, which, the flowers are just so clean and fresh. It's a real treat at this time of year. And then you get, you've still got the colours from stems and all those other things, which, you've just got to enjoy. And almost as the leaves come through, you get that contrast between the red and the green. Very exciting. But at this time of year, there's a lot of pleasure to be had. Just from the cut back and now mulched areas. Jack's been through this area and it's all filled with promise and potential. There's a little bit back there that he hasn't quite cut back yet. But the grasses and the willows in that new ambition area are still fabulous, so I don't blame him for leaving them. But it's seedlings everywhere, and hope springs eternal. And you can see through the garden much more, which is always a lovely thing. Then in the front garden, it's still mainly the pleasures of beautifully mulched ground, but you have got flowers as well. I've got a lovely few clumps of honesty that were self-sown from last year. I've got some more coming up in the polytunnel as well, but some of these are leftovers and kind of repeat from last year, so they've come a little bit earlier. And the hellebores are gorgeous. I've got various different colours and shades. They do seem to eventually revert to the mid-pink, but the mid-pink is in itself a lovely thing, so it all goes well. And rather amazingly this year, my February gold daffodils are actually flowering in February. Normally they wait till March, very badly named. But those are also the very first shoots of some peonies. This spring garden under the birch is filled with seedlings, most of which I think are going to be cowslips, but there's some other things in there as well. And there are the first pops of colour coming. So I've got the brunnera, has thrown out the old little shoot and a little flower here and there, which is very nice to see. And then I've got the anenome blanda and a couple of shrubs. And I've also there's a very good euphorbia, which is very happy in the shade. It spreads itself around and we've been able to move it around and share the love all over the place, which is good. And that zingy green of the euphorbias, I like to think of it as green. You could call it yellow, but I like to think of it as green. It's gorgeous. But at this time of year, you're getting evidence that spring is going to come. In January, you just have to believe it. Now you've got the evidence of your own eyes. It isn't spring yet, but it will be.